So the first televised event of the 2018 season sees the world's top 16 players head to Milton Keynes for the Unibet Masters. I'm joined by Paul Nicholson to look ahead to the tournament. First of all, Paul, is it sort of a Premier League warm-up? Obviously you've got the 10 Premier League players involved. How important is it for them to fine-tune their game ahead of the Premier League?
It's a really good start of the season for me, Jay, because you've got players who've been on holiday, players who have not touched their darts for a while, and this is the first examination of where their game is at in 2018. In previous years, we've had Michael van Gerwen dominating it because he's been able to really have the break after the Worlds and then come back firing. So it'll be interesting to see who follows him. I do feel Michael will be strong, but who's going to get to the final or get potentially that opportunity to knock him out later in the tournament?
Yeah, Michael van Gerwen, obviously the reigning and three-time Masters champion. After surrendering his world title to Rob Cross, how keen is he to send out an early message and lift that first silverware of the season?
He's been pretty good at doing it the last few years, hasn't he? So I feel that this year, the same questions are going to be asked of Michael. How does he rebound? Like when he lost in the Grand Prix against John Henderson, they said, how's he going to rebound? He did pretty well after that. And then again, obviously, after the Rob Cross loss at Ali Pali, I just do feel that he's used to this constant examination of his dominance. So when he comes back from, he's been in Mexico, I believe, when he comes back from there, he'll be ready, and be interesting to see how people perform against him.
Van Gerwen obviously seeded number 1, Rob Cross seeded 3, they're in separate halves of the draw. Do you feel the tone has been set for a great rivalry between those two this year?
I'd like to think so, because if we get 50% of a rivalry that would be tantamount to what we did in the semi-finals of the Worlds, I think we're in for a great few seasons. But potentially, what we've got to talk about is how Rob Cross has had a lot of distractions in the last few weeks since he won the world title. He's been doing a lot of media and is doing a lot of things that he's not used to. So time with his family is paramount right now so that he can prepare the way he's done last season to get ready for his Masters debut.
Going into the Masters, how do you feel that Rob will handle that added weight of expectation as world champion?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously being a Pro Tour winner the early part of last year, he had a big target on his back from March, April time. And then he was able to really stick with that and he was very comfortable with it. And he was able to shoot forward and get better as the year progressed. But this is a whole different league now. He's world champion, he's regarded as one of the best players in the world, ranked number 3. I just get the feeling with Rob, his relaxed mentality and he's just phenomenal work ethic. I think he's able to just put his head to the floor, get his job done, and I think he'll be able to handle this.
Let's talk about a few of the other players in this year's Unibet Masters lineup. James Wade being one of them. He's been left out of the Premier League. How big a year is 2018 for James, and has he got a point to prove?
He's got a massive point to prove, and that is not an insult to James. That's us basically sending a message to him saying, right, you've had a great 10 years in the top 10 in the world. What are you made of now? Where does phase 2 start for James Wade? It goes one of two ways for me. He gets better, he evolves with the game and evolves with the new talent in the sport, or he goes backwards. He knows that he's got to put in some hard work, and he's got to find a love for the game that he had back in 2007, 2008.
Another player who's involved in last year's Premier League has been left out this year, Dave Chisnell, world number 7. Again, a big year ahead for Dave.
Yeah, big year. I think a big few months for Dave. I think the exclusion from the Premier League was very close for him. But I think it's good for Dave to have a little bit more time with his family. He spent a lot of time on the road with the Premier League and with World Series over the last few seasons. So added bonus of spending more time with his family. And he can just go back to playing tournaments at weekends and having that little bit more rest. I think we can see good things from Chizzy in the next couple of seasons.
And as the first tournament of the season, can you see players, namely the usual suspects, having a tinker around with the setup and testing a few things out?
Yeah, definitely Peter Wright will have a bit of a tinker when he's in his new house, because he has moved house recently. Other players will just have to wait and see, but it is the time of year for me where players after the World Championships go back to their practice rooms, go back to their manufacturers and just have a look and see what they've got and see if they can fine-tune things and get that extra 1 or 2%.
I'm going to put you on the spot now, Paul. Who do you think will win the 2018 Unibet Masters?
I'm going to go with Michael. I know it's a cop-out and I do this every time probably, but I'd like to see somebody really challenge him like Rob did in the World Championship, but Michael's ability to bounce back, I see him getting this title.
Thanks, Paul. The Unibet Masters takes place from January 26 to 28, live on ITV4 at Arena MK in Milton Keynes.